Hi, I'm Madisyn Jerman, and this is the reflection from the ceremonial speech that I just did. And I'm going to answer questions. So the question prompts for the whole class are: How have you advanced at public speaking during this semester? So overall, this semester, I think I just got a lot more comfortable with speaking in front of people, and I don't get nearly as nervous as I did before. So I think that's how I've improved the most. What is the most important concept or theory you've learned from our textbook? So I think that one of the most important things I learned in this class from the textbook was the idea of pathos. So using people's emotions to benefit you and to get them emotionally invested in your speech. I think I use this quite often. I mean, I used it in the debates we were doing in speech class. I tried to take more of an emotional aspect or approach to the speech rather than just facts. Like, I tried to tell stories and stuff to really get their emotions involved as well. So I think that's how it applies to my everyday life. Recommend to your instructor what you would start, stop, and continue if you were teaching this course next semester. So I really enjoyed, well, I didn't really enjoy them, but I appreciated the rough draft outlines. And I felt like they were a lot of work, but I feel like it took that work out of like writing the actual speech, if that makes any sense. So I just doing the research for that made it less work when it came to speech week, because I had already knew I had my stuff ready. I basically just used a lot of what I did in that, took a little bit of out, and then made my speech from that information. So I really thought that helped quite a bit. If I were to stop something, I am not a huge fan of the topic proposals, because I feel like you only use one of those things, and so then you're doing information, or you're doing research for topics that you're not using, which it's not a big thing, but that wasn't my favorite. So these are question prompts for just this speech project. And the first one is, what was the purpose of this speech? So the purpose of my speech was to better familiarize people with Steve Jobs, whose products are present in our everyday lives. So that was the purpose of my speech. How did you work to make sure your speaker ethos was high? So just throughout the whole semester, since I'm not an expert in these things, I get good sources, and then I validate them within my speech so people know that they're good sources, and I just think that helps a speech be trustworthy. So that's what I've done. Was your technology adequately prepared in terms of audio quality and video image satisfaction? Recording, was your recording device charged and ready to go? It was. Yeah, it was. For the first couple speeches, I had a little trouble with stuff like that, but by this one, I have it figured out. So that went okay. In terms of structure and organization, what felt natural to you? What felt odd? So I actually feel a lot better with the verbal signposts. That's what I have not. That's what I've disliked in the past, but those seem to flow better for me now that I've done it a couple times. I didn't love restating everything at the end, like my thesis and my main points. That wasn't my favorite, just because I felt it was a little awkward, but I see the purpose of it. It's to get like your main points across right before you go. So, yeah. How did you consider your audience when you were developing your speech? Just picked a topic that I thought everybody could kind of relate to, or appreciate, not necessarily relate to. The ceremonial speech is all about connecting to your audience through pathos. What means of pathos did you use? So in this speech, I used pathos by telling a little about how Steve Jobs grew up and that he was adopted and stuff like that, because I thought that that was one way that I could show that he really came from humble beginnings and went on to be a big success. So that's how I used pathos within this speech. So what worked? What didn't work? So for me, it worked. The organization and stuff like that worked. What didn't work was finding somewhere to do my speech, because I had a little trouble of finding a quiet location and then also people to listen to my speech. So organizing all of that was a little difficult, but I got it figured out eventually. So that's all the time that I have, but thank you for listening to my vlog about my ceremonial speech.